So, Amir, should we start with the interview?
Yes, let's go.
Okay. So can you tell me the difference between slice method and splice method?
Okay, so when it comes to
Yep.
the slice method that returns an array. So what it does is you give it a start index and an end index, and it'll
Okay.
basically return the array starting from the index you specified and ending with the index you specified,
Okay.
and it leaves everything else out.
Okay. And what about
When it
splice?
comes to the splice method, I'm guessing I've used it before, but they're a bit similar. So it's also similar in the sense that you give it a starting index and an ending index.
Okay.
Um,
We put starting and ending index.
yeah. There's also a starting and ending index in splice,
Are you sure?
but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
But I'm confident that I think there are the starting and ending index should be specified
Okay.
in Splice as well.
Okay. So in splice, we remove certain number of elements. Suppose if we want to remove the certain number of elements,
Yeah.
so what at what position you will mention that we have to remove certain
Ah,
number of
okay.
positions?
Oh, I think now adding to what you said, I think you give it a starting index, and then you give it the number
Yes.
of elements you want
Yes.
to take. And
Yes.
so that's the difference between it and Slice.
Okay. And anything else do we put after that?
Um, I think there's an additional parameter, but I can't
Okay.
remember it, to be
Okay.
honest, right
So
now.
suppose from first index, okay, if we want to
Yeah.
remove two elements, you will
Okay.
use the index position and you will use
Yeah.
the number of elements you want to remove, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, that's correct.
if we want to, instead of in that position we want to add three elements, different elements.
Oh, okay. We want to add three elements. So it's like you're appending at a certain position.
Yes, we are removing those two elements, and in those
Yeah.
positions we have to add three elements.
Yeah.
So what you will use in splice method, what you will pass and where you will pass.
Okay. So basically, with the splice method, it returns an array.
It
Okay.
returns array, new array.
Yeah.
What?
Based on the modifications that I did on the existing array.
Okay, so it doesn't overrides the original array, you mean to say?
No, I don't think it overrides the original array. No.
Are you sure? Have you worked with splice method?
I haven't used it in practice a lot.
Okay, okay. Have you worked with template literals?
Template literals, yes. You mean these ones, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
can you give me an example for template literals?
Okay, so for example, let's say I have a variable. So for example, const port
Okay,
equals 3000. Simply, I can just go ahead and log and use template literals to display the variable, because the variable at the end of the day, I might change it later. So
okay,
instead of going ahead and editing the original text, I can just edit the port number. So for example, let's say listening on port, and I just give it a dollar sign and insert the value in here. So instead of going ahead and editing the text each time, if I want to change the port number, it's just easier enough to edit the variable, for example, and it'll still display the updated value.
okay, okay. And just zoom a little.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Can you tell me some features of ES6?
Some features of, you mean JavaScript ES6?
ES6, yes.
So basically, when I started working with JavaScript, I started using ES6, the
Okay,
modern version.
okay.
So to be honest with you, I haven't done a lot of research on the advantages of ES6 over its previous versions.
Okay. So do you know like there are few features have been included
Okay.
in ES6 when we move from ES5 to ES6? There are few features have been
Yeah.
included. So do you know those
Okay.
features?
No.
Okay. So template literal is one of them. Do you know any
Okay.
other? You must be knowing
Template
it,
literals is
but
one.
you don't know exactly. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. Okay. Then that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Can you tell me about function currying concept?
Can you repeat again, please?
Can you tell me about the function currying? Have you heard of function
So you
currying
mean just
concept? Function currying?
func? No.
No. Okay. Okay. Can you tell me about the lexical scope in JavaScript?
Lexical scope?
Yes.
I don't know about the lexical scope.
Okay. Okay. There are certain number of scopes available in JavaScript. Can you tell me about those scopes?
So we have the global scope, which
Okay.
is pretty much this one. So the global scope contains all the variables that are global, and these variables can be seen by functions, for example, or just any method or other scope that I'm working with.
Okay.
That's the global scope,
Okay.
basically. We also have the block scope.
Okay.
The block scope is basically when everything I type inside the curly braces would be exclusive to this block, hence the name of block scope.
Okay.
So pretty much the variables defined inside here or declared, they won't be present outside this block, recognized outside this block. In
Okay.
other words.
Okay. Okay. So can you just comment the above code? Just write var a equals to 500. A equals to write any
Okay.
variable name. Okay. Then have a scope.
Scope. So this one.
Yes. And write
Okay.
var variable equals to 1000. Okay.
Okay.
Go outside the scope. Write let variable equals to 1500. Again write scope. Write let variable equals to 2000, and go outside the scope and write console log of variable.
Okay.
Yep. You can tell me what will be the output and why.
Okay. So I think the output will be 1,500.
1500. Are you sure?
Yeah. The reason is because I declared the variable as var here, and I initialized it to 500, and then
Okay.
inside this block
Okay.
scope
Instead of
here.
variable, let variable. Okay. You have to put a let variable one. 15th line.
Where
15th line.
equal one.
No, not that. Variable one name as a name.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Okay. And keep it equals to variable.
Equals the variable.
Variable. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Now you can tell me what will be the output and why.
So in this case, it's going to be 500.
500.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm logging variable. I'm not logging variable one. I also set variable one equals variable. And when it comes to the declaration of variable inside the block scope, I don't think it will be detected in the
Okay.
console log, the global
Okay.
console log.
So you mean to say var variable, okay, which
Yeah,
is between 11 and 13.
yeah.
11,
11 and 13.
13. Yes.
Yeah,
That var variable is a block scope.
yeah, yeah,
So var variable is a block scope, you want to say.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Are you sure?
So
like
when I log
var.
here,
Yeah,
when I log this variable,
yeah.
it's going to output 500. It won't.
Okay, so you mean to say var variable is a local scope.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell me, okay, before going ahead with the output, just tell me the difference between var let and const.
Okay, so when it comes to const is basically you're telling the variable that I want to give you a value and I don't want you to change.
Okay,
So it's as simple as that. You give a variable a const value, and then
okay.
you can't change the value over and over. So it's just like a single time initialization.
It can't
Okay.
be, value
When
can't
it
be
comes
changed.
to Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
When it comes to var and let, the difference here between the both of them, I think it comes in the object sense more, because when you're working with let, and let's say you write a function,
okay.
and inside the function you have a certain object.
Hmm.
So when you have the let variable inside this function, the scope of the let variable, or not the scope, in other words, I meant to say let in itself will detect the object, this object.
Okay,
Okay, while when it comes to var, it's only detected in the scope of where it's initialized or where it's essentially declared.
okay. And about the let, can let variables redeclare?
Yeah, yeah,
We can
normally.
redeclare let variables.
Yeah,
Can you check the output of this? You told me 500, right? For this.
yeah, that's correct.
Yep, you can check it out.
Oh, okay, 1000. Okay. So I see. So by declaring the var with the variable inside this block scope and console.logging outside,
Yeah.
it
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 is
took the value
accessible
that
outside.
I declared inside. It's accessible outside, while the let is not accessible outside the block
Yes.
scope.
Yes.
Okay,
Where is a not,
okay,
where is not a block scope. Okay.
okay, okay.
Okay. You told me let we can redeclare. Okay.
Yeah.
So can you give me an example for let variable with redeclaration? You can comment this all out.
Okay. So okay, let's say here. So since we're working with port, so I'm just going to keep working with that. Let port equal 3000, and you mean I go ahead and say let port equals 5000? Is that what you meant to say?
Yes. That's a redeclaration,
Oh,
right?
okay. So as we can see, it shows us an error here that we
Okay.
cannot redeclare
Yes.
the
Let
block scope.
variables we
So
can't
only
read.
var we can redeclare. So if I
Yes.
go ahead and type var, I can redeclare it, but with let
Yes.
I can't redeclare it. Okay,
With the help of
okay.
const, can we redeclare?
With the help of
No
const,
need to write it. No need to
I don't
write.
I don't think it's going to work. No, I
Okay.
don't think it's going to work.
Okay. Can you tell me about the pop-up boxes available in JS?
I didn't
There are
understand your
certain
question.
pop-up boxes like, okay, one example I can give you is alert. The pop-up box, it
Yeah,
appears. So there are types of pop-up boxes are there.
yeah. So I know about the alert. I know about the alert function.
Hmm.
The alert function, you give it a message, and then you can use it when a certain action is, for example, performed, and it'll give you a pop-up from the top of the screen telling you the message
Okay.
and the option to exit.
Hmm. Are there any other
Uh,
pop-up boxes available, or do you know?
Other than alert,
Yes,
no, I don't think I don't know.
you
There
don't know.
might be, but I haven't used any pop-up boxes any other than alert.
Okay, fine, not an issue. Can you tell me the difference between undeclared and undefined variables
Okay, undeclared. So undeclared variables are variables that are not yet in the program.
that are
Okay,
not
they're not
yet?
in the program. So yeah, they're not initialized. They're not they don't have a value or declared even. They're not in the program.
Okay, if
While undefined
they don't
variables
have a
are,
value, they don't have a value. So you mean to say a equals to
no.
200? They are declared variables, you mean to say?
So
If we
let
write
me give you
a
an
equals
example.
to,
Let's
okay, just write a equals to 100.
equals to 100.
Yes,
Yeah,
write
exactly. So this is not
write
declared
a
because there's
equals
no
to,
variable.
write a equals to.
A equals to.
Yeah, you told me it has no value.
No, this will have a value normally. What I meant to say about undeclared variables, they're variables that
So
don't exist
this is
in
undeclared
the
or not?
program. This is declared.
This is declared. So what do you mean by
So yeah,
declaration?
what I meant to say was, let's say I want to log, for example, b, the variable b. The variable b is not declared in my program. This
Okay,
is what I meant to say.
okay.
While you mentioned declared and initialized,
Undefined.
the difference, undefined. Okay, so undefined variables are variables that are declared, but they're not initialized. They don't
Okay.
have a value.
Don't have a value. Okay, okay,
Yeah. So points to null, basically. Points to null.
okay. Okay, can you write a console log? Write string of 10, string of 10.
Uh, s-
How you write 10 as a string? String.
String of 10. Okay, okay. I was, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Plus within that console log, yes.
Yeah,
100
okay,
plus 20,
okay,
and on the next line write console log, write 10 as a value plus 100 and plus 20 as a string. Tell me what will be the output in both the cases.
okay. So in the first case, the output will be, so we have 120 plus, so 130. The output here will be 130. Yes.
Okay,
Uh, okay. Plus 20 string. Um, let's see. So 10. Okay, and then in the next case, so we have 110 plus the string of 20. So I think in the second console log, it's going to be 110 and then 20 next to it.
okay. And
110, 20.
the first one is 130.
Yeah,
Can you please comment the above code? 26, 27. Yes. 130 will be the first console log. Can you run this?
sure. Okay. So 10, 100. Oh, so in both cases, it adds the string. Okay. It's like string. Yeah, it's the addition of string or the
Okay,
combination of string in both
okay, tell
cases.
me string and number if they get concatenated, or
Yeah,
they get added. If there is a number and a string and we are doing plus, so will
yeah.
they be concatenated or will they be added?
Concatenated, as you
Concatenated.
can see here.
And the resultant will be of that concatenation
A string.
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 Yes. Okay. Okay. Can you tell me the types of errors in JavaScript?
Types of errors in JavaScript. So, okay, I know about we have undefined exception.
Yes.
Um, okay, we also have a couple of errors relating to, for example, if you're sending a request, let's say you're expecting a JSON to be returned, JSON format. So instead of JSON, you get from the back end, for example, a string. So you'll also have a doc type error.
Okay.
So which
Okay.
is the error. You're not expecting this type. You're expecting JSON, but you get a string, for example.
Okay.
There are many types of errors. To be honest, I can't remember all of them, but
Okay.
those are the ones that
You have
mostly.
written a code something syntactically wrong. So what is that error?
You mean if I have a function and the function is returning
No, no, no,
the
nothing. No
syntax is.
function. No function. Nothing. There is certain syntax available. Okay, to write,
Yeah,
but you wrote it in wrong manner. This. syntax.
We will have a syntax error. We will have
Okay.
a syntax error.
Okay. When you will receive the reference error, any idea?
The reference error, I think, mostly when we're working with objects, if I have an object inside a function, for example, and I'm trying to access an attribute that this object doesn't have,
Okay.
so I would get a reference error in this
Okay.
case.
Okay. Okay. There are few ways for handling asynchronous operations.
Yeah.
Can you tell me those ways for handling asynchronous operations?
Okay, so I'm telling you that the ways I use are I either handle it in a try-catch block. So I have an await statement inside the try-catch block, and in case there was any error, I would catch it inside the catch block. And the other way is using the .then .catch method, which basically you're awaiting a response, and then if there's any error, you're catching it with the .catch method. And in both cases, essentially, you're awaiting for a promise. So
Okay.
both methods are essentially similar, in the sense that you're awaiting for a promise, and in case of a rejection, you would have an error,
Okay.
and you would have to catch it. So
So async await. Have you worked with async await?
yes.
So it is used for handling synchronous or asynchronous operations.
Asynchronous operations.
Okay, and callback functions like set timeout, set interval, they are used for handling
Yeah, yeah.
asynchronous or synchronous.
You mean the set timeout?
Yes, set
Okay,
timeout.
set timeout functions and set interval.
Yes,
No, these are synchronous, I believe.
these are synchronous. Okay, what do you
Um,
mean by synchronous and asynchronous?
Okay, so if I'm working synchronously, essentially I'm moving line by line. So I'm waiting for a line to execute before moving down to the next. Okay,
Okay,
while if I'm working with asynchronous operations revolve around the fact that when you're performing something or when you're awaiting for something, that doesn't stop the flow of your program. Okay,
okay,
so if you're awaiting if you're awaiting for a resolve or a reject or essentially a promise, that doesn't stop any other function or process running in your program.
okay. Can you
So
write
that's basically
a
like the high
okay,
level.
fine. You can comment this out. 29, 30th line. Or write a console log. Write 100 as a value. On the next line, write set timeout with console log of 100 and 1000 millisecond.
Okay.
And is this the way we write set timeout?
Yes.
We write a function first and then we write.
Yeah, we have the function. The function takes two parameters. It takes what we want to execute. So essentially, we can also give it a anonymous function here if we wanted to, or a single statement. And the next parameter would be the time that we want to execute after the time has passed.
Okay, and on the next line, write console log of 300. And the middle one, middle console log in set timeout, right? 200. 200. Tell me what will be the output. And
Set and why? Okay, so the set timeout function, I told you it's synchronous, but in reality it's asynchronous. Okay, because the output in this case is going to be 100, 300, and then 200.
do you think this will work? You can run this out.
Okay, so let me just. Okay, so we received an error. Let's see. 100. Okay, so we have 100, 200, and then type function. See.
Can you do clear and then you run this? Yes. Yep.
Okay, so we have an error thrown.
Yeah.
It says we have an invalid argument type. The
Okay.
callback argument must be of type function at set timeout. So we have an error.
Hmm.
We have an error here in the
Yeah.
set timeout function,
So
but it still prints
as I told
200.
you, yeah, it will print, but as I told you, the first parameter will be callback function. So will you be able to write?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it has to be, yeah, like that.
Yes. Yeah. Now what will be the
Yeah.
output?
100. Okay, so it's going to be 100, 300, 200.
Set timeout is helping us to handle asynchronous operations, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, do you still think it is a synchronous set timeout
It's
as
not
you told
synchronous,
me?
it's asynchronous.
Okay, okay. You can comment this out. Okay. Can you write?
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
Okay. No worries. Can you write a string, a sentence, basically? Yeah. Hello. Don't write hello word. Write this is my best interview. Okay. And store it in a string str equals to, oh yeah, equals to, yes. Now you can write a function for this, and it should help us to return the longest word. You have to write the function for that.
Okay, longest word. Okay, so okay, so let word, and then we are going to equals. Okay, so basically, I was going to use it anyway, but we're going to use the split function here. So we're going to let the word array equal to the split function,
Hmm.
the string.split function, and then we're going to split the function on space so that
Okay.
we have each element alone.
Okay.
Uh, so the next thing we want to do here is we want the length of each array element.
Okay.
Okay, so I can use a for loop here. Sorry, I less than dot. Okay, so, okay. طيب. So we want to store the. Okay, so let word length equal to 0. And then here we're going, let's say, word, word array of I dot. Okay. Okay. Okay, word length 0, and then we have word length, use it here. Don't need this. Length, word equals word array of I, max length equals word array of I dot length. Okay,
Yeah, Amir, done.
yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me the logic?
Okay, so the logic. First of all, I declared a variable of called word,
Okay.
and the logic behind this is because I want to return the word, because you're asking for the longest word, so I want to return the longest word, and after storing it in this variable. I
Okay.
also declared and initialized a max length variable. So the
Okay.
idea from this is I always want to have the value of the previous string that I compared, or the basically the max length of the largest string while I'm iterating. And the goal from this is to if I reach a word and the length of that word is greater than its previous competitor, then I
Okay.
would set the word to this to the value of the word that's the largest in length than the max length variable, which inside this max length variable is stored the largest length while I'm iterating. And then if I reach a word that has a length greater than this max length while I'm
Okay.
iterating,
Okay.
then the word variable would be updated with that word. And I'd also update the max length because essentially while I'm iterating, I'm also comparing the upcoming words with that the length of the upcoming words with the max length that I
Okay.
have. And I also created a word array. The goal from this word array is the input I'm having or the parameter I'm having in this function while I'm calling it. The parameter is of type string. And in order to return a word, in order to return a word, I would want to split the string into a string array.
Okay.
Hence why I stored the string array, which is passed as input. I stored it as a string array using the string.split function. So the input parameter, I split it, and I returned the array of words. So essentially now we have word, 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 word instead of whole string. And then I iterated over the word array, which contains all of the words in the string passed. And if the length of the word I'm currently on is greater than the max length, which I'm always updating based on this comparison, then the word would be updated to the largest length word, and the max length would also be updated. And outside the iteration, I'm returning the word.
Okay. You are calling that function.
No, I'm not calling the function.
Okay. Can you please go ahead and give me the output?
So you want me to call the function?
Yes. I want the output basically. You will call it.
Oh, you want the output. So return word. So I can basically log the output here, and inside the console log, I'm just gonna call the function.
Okay.
Get longest word from string, and pass in sorry, best interview.
Okay.
Yeah, the output should be interview.
Okay. Go ahead.
Would you like me to run it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Can you print the length as well?
Print the length of the word.
Yes, of the longest word.
Okay, of the longest word. Uh,
Okay. Okay. You can comment this out. Write an array. Write uh, 200. 4, 600, 8, 150. Okay, and you have to sort the numbers in ascending order.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, show me the output.
One sec.
It will be the same.
Yeah, I thought it was void, so I thought it doesn't return. So
Okay.
that's why I tried to return.
Okay. Okay, now you can check it out.
I can try another solution if you'd
Yeah.
like.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can essentially we can have a anonymous function here that takes
Yeah,
the
you can go ahead with the
but
anonymous function. Will you be able to do it? Uh,
so this will have a number. Um, I'm storing the value previous as well. So uh, number less than the next number. This is the issue.
if you want, you can take for loops as well.
Yeah, no, I can sort it iteratively, but using the built-in sort function is more efficient. That's
Yeah,
why I
if
was
you
trying
if you
to.
if you can do it with the sort method, then you can go ahead. You can type control Z and you will get. Yeah. You are passing a number. What you will do with that number only? With a single
Yeah,
number.
passing the number only is not alone. Is not enough.
Yes. So
I want to pass two numbers.
uh,
So number
okay.
number one, number two, number one, number two, and then I'm returning a number one less than number two.
Okay. Less than number two. You know what it will show if it will how it will match in sort method by seeing the output you did the sort method, right? That's it. How it matches the
You want me
values.
to explain it? You want me to
Yes.
explain it?
Yes.
Okay, so what's going to happen here is we have when we call the array.sort method, it's going to start moving over the array. So at the start, number one, 200 will be stored in number one, and four will be
No,
stored
no,
in number
no,
two.
not with this. I'm saying just you did a simple
Yeah,
sort method, right?
yeah.
So you did the sort method and then you printed it. So how they checked inbuilt with the help of sort method, they had some calculations and then they printed in some other way. So can you tell me that this the way through which the output has come, what was that internal calculations that JavaScript did with the help of sort method? It brought 150, then
Okay,
200,
so
then 4, then 600, then 8. Why it rearranged in this way?
it rearranged in this way because using the sort method, I'm comparing each adjacent two numbers. Okay, I'm comparing adjacent two numbers, and I'm inserting in place of the first number the number which satisfies the condition of the condition in the return statement. So essentially, I'm inserting the number or I'm swapping both numbers based on which one is lesser in value, which one is
Lesser
smaller.
in value. So why it came?
or small.
why 8 came last and 600 came second last? 600 should be last.
Yeah, that's correct.
So what was that? It's what it matching, like what it checks internally.
Uh, okay. Okay. So you're asking me about the default sort method,
Default,
the one
yes.
which was empty
Yes.
and yeah, with no parameters. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now I understand your question. Okay.
Why
Okay.
it rearranged in this way? Why it didn't came in ascending order?
Oh, okay. So, uh, to be honest, I don't know the internal logic about it. But if I start thinking about it for like 2 3 minutes, I'd probably know the logic
Okay, by
at
seeing
which
the
it
output, can you guess it?
by seeing the output.
Yeah.
No, because the output doesn't seem logical to me. Honestly,
Can you
the numbers
check the
don't seem to have like a pattern.
okay, can you check certain first. Okay, 150, the first is 1. 200, the first is
Yeah.
2.
Oh, okay.
You got it?
There's a pattern.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. So it's so basically it sorted them
On the first
via
digit.
the digit, the first digit on the first digit.
Yes.
Okay.
Now you can do with the help of this. Two parameters you have passed, number 1, number 2. So accordingly you can do it.
Yeah. So do you like me to print the output now in this case?
Yes. You can put that in console. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So the logic has changed a bit, but there's a mistake. So I'm returning number one less than number two. So if number one is less than number two, number one will stay in its place. Else,
The logic they have used is the
okay,
same.
if num
That's why I ask you number 1 less than number 2 what it will do.
okay, okay. So this is the default behavior.
Yes.
But there's
The
a
last
but there's a
value it
simple
didn't
change in the
last
last line.
value, just the last value you
There's
can
no
see.
second parameter because there's no second
Yes.
parameter probably.
Yes.
Okay,
But the logic is the same.
okay.
Okay.
Logic is
Will
the
you be
same.
able to do it, or like should we go ahead?
Okay. So instead of the return here, I'm sure there's a Boolean way around it, but he انت return them in. Okay, that's cool. Okay, I'm done.
Done. Yeah, go ahead and show me the output.
Okay, so still the same issue.
Yes, still use the
Mm,
same logic.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like I used the Boolean method before, and I know it returns the minimum. That's why I was
Okay.
yeah. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay, fine. Not an issue. You can comment this out. Write console log of string of 2 minus 2 and just copy this console log and paste it on the next line with first as number and the second as string.
Okay.
Keep it as 2 and this string of 2. Yes, what will be the output here?
Okay. So the first one, I believe it will be 0.
Okay.
The second one,
What's the thought process behind the output 0?
yeah, because I believe here, so we have a string
Yeah.
and we're subtracting it from an integer. So what's going to happen is it's going to do the arithmetic calculation and then convert the final answer to the string type and log it out.
Okay. So data type will be string
Uh,
of 0.
yeah, yeah, I believe so. Yeah. In this next case, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that with subtraction, it's going to do the arithmetic operation in both cases. But maybe in the second case, it's going to print an integer type, not a string.
So second output will be, second console log output will be 0.
0 as int.
Okay. Okay, fine. You can comment this
Or
line.
maybe, or maybe an error. I'm not 100% sure,
Error.
but yeah, but I don't think it's going to be an error, but maybe
Both the output will be 0. Eh, we are taking it minus, so if any of
both will be
them
0.
is, if any of them is a number, then if both of them is string,
Yeah,
then
that
what it will happen?
if both of them are strings, okay. So if both of them are strings, it's going to. I think it's going to do the calculation, but based on the ASCII code, so based on the value of the actual string.
Are you sure, or like you are guessing it out?
No, like I'm taking it as reference from another language. I'm not
Okay.
100% sure,
Okay. Okay.
but it might as well do the arithmetic as usual and print the string.
Arithmetic in of ASCII codes or of number?
Yeah, of number. So
Like
either of ASCII
it
or
will be
of number.
0, or it will be 0 as well. You mean to say?
Depending on the value. So if you're asking about the two here, if two was a string,
So both the
the
ASCII
value will be
code will
zero.
be the
Yeah,
same.
yeah. So the value would be zero.
Okay. Okay. Fine. How can you compare two arrays?
Okay. So comparing two arrays, in what sense? Do you mean value by value?
Value
Just
by value. Suppose
or
first
like
array is 11, 22, then 88, and in second array as well 11, 22, and 88. Elements are same in both the arrays. So you want to
yeah.
bring the output as true by comparing them.
Okay.
How will you do that?
Okay. So simply, I can have a for loop that compares element by element, and if I reach a comparison where the elements are not equal, I simply return false inside the for loop. Else, outside the for loop, I would return true.
Okay. Is there any efficient way with the help of inbuilt function?
I think we do have a method. It's called the array.compare, but I'm not sure
Array
if
dot
it
compare.
I'm not sure if it's actually called that or not. But I think there might be a built-in function.
Have you used JSON dot stringify?
Yeah.
So why we use JSON dot stringify?
Okay. So let's say you want to display some value or display a set of values and render them on screen, for example. So that's why you would need you sent a request, for example, to your server. The server in a normal case would return a JSON response. So, say you want to display some values returned from the database, you would have to stringify these values in order to use them, display them on your front end. That's why you would use JSON.stringify.
So in short, it converts
It
into
converts the JSON format into string.
okay, and vice versa, opposite.
Yes, the opposite, you would use the dot. It's called the method is called dot JSON, pretty
Dot
much
JSON
dot JSON
or JSON dot parse.
or JSON dot parse. You're
Have you
parsing
used
the
parse
string
method?
input and the parse method.
Yes, JSON dot parse. Have you used?
Yes, yes, I've
Okay,
used it before. JSON dot parse, and then you
okay,
give it the string inside.
okay, Amir. We will move to HTML. Can you tell me the types of list available in HTML?
Yes, we have the unordered list and the ordered list
Okay, have you heard of DL?
of
DL.
yeah, description list as
Okay,
well.
so what
Description
description
list,
list
ordered
does?
list, and unordered list.
What description list
The
does?
description list helps us to display a list of items, but the format would be a description title and the description of the element that we're displaying in the list.
Okay. Can you tell me the difference between bold and strong tag?
Bold and strong.
Yes.
Bold and strong. Good question. I haven't thought about it before.
Have you used
I
strong
think
tag?
they're similar. I've used strong. I've used strong tags, but when I was starting out, so that was like 2 years ago.
Okay,
But they're
so
similar. I don't think
they are
there's any
similar. So
difference.
there
I'm
is
not
no
sure
diff.
if it's.
If there is no difference, why HTML introduced the other tag? What do you think?
Mm, uh, maybe for browser support.
Okay, fine, not an issue. You can check this out later on. Okay,
I'll check this out.
yeah. Basically, it provides the importance. Strong tag. Okay.
Okay.
Can you tell me what is the use of required attribute?
The use of required attribute is to prompt the user or force him to enter a value
Okay.
in a certain input.
Okay. There are certain tags to display a table. Can you tell me
Yeah.
those tags?
To display a table.
Yes, we use certain tags, TR and all.
Uh, yeah, so we have the table, which is the parent tag.
Yes, yes.
It's not a self-closing tag, so it's just as is. And then inside the tables, we have the table rows with
Okay,
TR.
okay,
And then on each row, we can add table data,
okay,
TDs.
okay. And what is TH?
Uh, TH is basically if we want to specify a title
Okay,
for the
title
column
or header. Okay,
usually,
okay,
or header, yeah, table header.
okay. What is marquee tag?
Can you please repeat?
What is marquee tag? Marquee. MARQEE.
The MAR. Marquee tag. Okay. I don't know. I've never used it before.
There is no K there. Okay.
Yeah. Is this what you
MARQEE.
Q?
Q U
Yeah, marquee. Yeah, I've never
Q.
used. I've used. I've never used it before.
Okay, okay, fine. Not an issue. Can you tell me the difference between figure tag and image tag?
Between
Between figure tag and image tag, what's the difference?
figure tag and image tag. I've
Yes.
never used the figure tag before.
Okay,
I
okay,
use image.
okay. What's the use of alt attribute if you have used image tag then?
The alt attribute is the goal of the alt attribute is to basically display an alternative text in case the image did not load.
Okay, okay. Amir, we will move to CSS. Tell me the types of CSS.
Okay, so we have inline CSS,
Okay,
which is basically built in with inner HTML.
okay.
So, for example, a H1 uh, with a style of like, for example,
Within that
any
line,
CSS attribute. So
we
this is
apply CSS. Okay, fine.
Yeah, so this is
Other
the inline. We have the inner CSS, which is basically where inside the HTML document in
internal.
itself, in the head internal, I would type CSS there,
Okay.
and we have the external CSS
Okay.
where I type CSS externally and import it to the HTML file.
Which has the highest
These are the
priority?
three types of CSS. The highest priority
Yes.
inline,
Inline. As a developer, which do you prefer?
external.
External. Okay. There are certain ways to hide the elements in CSS.
Yes.
Can you tell me those ways?
We can use the display header, the display none property, and we can also use the opacity of zero
Okay.
property. This would also hide the element.
Okay. Have you heard? Have you worked with visibility hidden?
Visibility hidden. Yeah. But I don't use it a lot. I prefer to use display.
Display none.
Display none and toggle it. Yeah.
Okay. So why you prefer display none and why you don't prefer visibility hidden?
Okay. So simply because let's say I have a complex layout,
Okay.
a flex parent, for example,
Okay.
and I want to hide one of the children.
Okay.
Okay, one of the children. So that's why it's more convenient. Or if I have a flex parent that I want to hide, for example, and display when a certain action is performed, it's way more convenient to change the display from to toggle the display from none to flex, because that would already display everything as it's supposed to,
Okay.
than work with the visibility.
Okay. So visibility hidden and display none. Do you know the difference?
The difference between them, like exactly the
Yes.
difference?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Fine. Which property do you use to give shadow effect to the text?
Shadow effect to the text. So
Yes.
um, to the text itself.
Yes.
So the text decoration property, I think.
Have you used box shadow?
I've used box shadow, but I thought you were referring to a box shadow. Usually, if I'm working with containers, it styles the borders of the containers, the outer borders. But
So,
yes, if I'm applying box shadow to a text element, then yes, it will style the text.
okay.
It will add
You
a shadow to
haven't
the text
applied
itself.
a shadow effect to the text with the help of box shadow, you mean to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. Do you know about universal selectors?
Yes, the star selector is the star selector is the main one, and we can also target the elements universally if we wanted to. The
Okay.
tag,
Okay. Okay.
but
Um,
of course, the strength of these or the priority that these get is lowered as we move more
lowest
precisely.
priority, you mean to say?
Lowest priority.
Okay. Okay. There are various positioning properties. So can you tell me
Yeah.
those?
Yeah, so we have the position relative, the position absolute,
Okay.
position relative, position absolute. Those are the main ones I use. Position.
Okay, if you want to provide the
Uh,
default, uh, like a position default, the default value.
the default value of position.
Yes.
Uh, so,
Like
uh,
suppose the order in which they are placed in the document, you want to like have the default.
so yeah, by default, the position would be. No, I forgot. Uh, relative absolute.
Static.
Static. It would be by default static.
Okay.
It
You
wouldn't be relative or absolute by default.
okay, relative, any other
Yeah, so
positions,
static is the default.
any other positions can you think of?
No.
Do you know sticky?
Position sticky, yeah, it helps. It's used for headers and footers, but we don't really use it because it's not so convenient. That's
Okay.
why I think I forgot about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
have you used fixed?
Position fixed.
Yes.
Yeah, so it also fixes the element based on top left, right, and
Window based
top
on the
left, right,
window.
and bottom. Based on the window, yeah,
Okay.
the viewport.
Okay. Uh, yes, Amir. That's it for the interview. Any queries, any concerns, you can ask me.